Hey everybody, Adam Meckler back again with another video. Today we're going to talk about playing over dominant chords, and I'm going to give you 3 different sets of 4-note chords. So 3 different sets of pitches that you can use to navigate all 12 dominant chords. In each one, you'll be adding a flat 9. So it's a really great way of learning how to alter dominant chords, and it gives you a single set of pitches that you can practice that will cover 4 different chords. So we have 12 different chords, so we have 3 different sets of pitches that we're going to learn today. Before we get started, hit like, hit subscribe. That really helps me out. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to explain to you why this works. I'm going to show you the music theory behind it. The first set of pitches we're going to talk about is a fully diminished 7th chord. And fully diminished 7th chords are symmetrical, which means they are all exactly the same interval. The distance between each note is a minor third. The first 4 pitches that we're going to talk about are C, E flat, F sharp, and A. This is a fully diminished 7th chord, but we're going to think of it like the upper pitches of a chord. The 3rd, the 5th, the 7th, and the flat 9. So starting on C, if we think of it as the 3rd, the 5th, the 7th, and the flat 9, we're talking about the key of A flat. Actually, we're talking about the key of D flat. We're talking about A flat being a 5 chord. A flat dominant with a flat 9. C is the 3rd of A flat. E flat is the 5th of A flat. G flat or F sharp is the 7th of A flat. And A natural is the flat 9 of A flat. Okay, now A flat as a 5 chord resolves to D flat, either major or minor. So these are the exercises that I'm going to start to introduce, is learning to navigate from the 5 to the 1 and doing either 5 to major 1 or 5 to minor 1. These are really important relationships that we can learn to navigate and continue to practice over years and years. I was just practicing this morning a little bit. Now we're going to look at E flat as the 3rd. So we're going to flip the pitches around. Since they're symmetrical, we're just going to take the C and we're going to put it on top. E flat is going to be the 3rd. So if E flat's the 3rd, really we're talking about D sharp. So B7 is our chord. D sharp is the 3rd of B7. B7 flat 9. So E flat is the 3rd, or D sharp is the 3rd, F sharp is the 5th, A is the 7th, and C natural is the flat 9. Okay? So we're going to practice these same 4 pitches, but we're going to hear the B in the bass. And one way that I do that is I'll actually play B on the bass, on the piano in the low register, and then I'll practice those pitches so I can hear it as a 5 chord in that key rather than a 5 chord in another key, since all 4 of these pitches can be used for 4 different keys. The next pitch in our diminished 7th chord is the F sharp. F sharp is the 3rd of D, so we can use D7 flat 9 as a 5 chord in the key of G. So D7 flat 9 is the 5 chord in the key of G major or G minor. F sharp is the 3rd, A is the 5th, C is the 7th, and E flat is the flat 9. Again, same set of 4 pitches that we used for the previous 2 5 chords. Now we're going to do it again, and we're going to flip that F sharp. We're going to put that on top now, and we're going to deal with the A. And when A is the 3rd of the chord, we're talking about F7 flat 9. A is the 3rd of F. So F7 flat 9 would be the 5 chord of... That's right. And you could work on navigating from the 5 to the 1 in each one of those keys, using these 4 pitches that make a diminished 7th chord amongst them. Okay, so that's the first 4 keys using just 1 set of pitches. Now the next set of pitches would be C sharp. C sharp, so we just go up a half step. C sharp, E, G, and B flat. Now C sharp is the 3rd of A7 flat 9. So starting on C sharp is the 3rd, E is the 5th, G is the 7th, B flat is the flat 9. A7 is the 5 of D minor 7 or D major 7. Okay, and we can continue on this process. So what I'll do is I'll put all this stuff, kind of charted out a little tree as well that I think is really helpful. We're going to put all this stuff up on the screen so you can screenshot it and keep it for your own records if you like. But I'm going to show you some ways that I like to practice these exercises practically when I'm working on this. One thing that you can do right away is just build familiarity with each one of these diminished chords. There are a lot of different shapes you can make with this diminished structure, and I would suggest that you try a whole bunch of different things out and screw around and improvise a lot. I think we don't spend enough time just improvising with a metronome or without. We have a lot of directed practice and guided practice and things that we absolutely must play a certain way. but we don't allow ourselves to improvise freely enough, in my opinion. I think that is a way that you can build a relationship with your instrument. It's a way that you can build a sense of freedom when you go to improvise in a group. You have a whole bunch of information that you've worked on or that you feel comfortable with just because you've improvised. And I'm not even talking about improvising in a specific key necessarily. Just improvising freely is a great way of practicing. And a lot of my favorite improvisers I know started out this way, just improvising without adhering to any set of structure of pitches. And we could do a similar kind of practice with these pitches, but just use these pitches as our practice. And then again, I can play the root on the piano and actually hear the root that we're talking about. So what I'm doing is I'm playing C on the trumpet, but I'm playing the one that would, I guess, technically start on B flat and go B flat, D flat, E, G. But I'm playing on the key of C, or I'm going to play C, E flat, F sharp, A on the trumpet, if you're a trumpet player. So the first one I'm going to practice is the one that starts on my C sharp. So I'm going to be thinking in the key of A dominant 7 with a flat 9. C sharp is the 3rd, E is the 5th, G is the 7th, and B flat is the flat 9. So I just did a quick little up and down on the chord, and then I resolved it to D minor, since A7 flat 9 is the 5 chord of D minor or D major. And this should be said that we can alter any dominant chord that says A7, we can add a flat 9. We don't have to, it doesn't have to be in a minor key to do that. In a minor key, we always do that. But it doesn't have to be in a minor key to do that. We can alter dominant chords kind of willy-nilly. So you can see how you can do some really cool stuff with just using these pitches and thinking of the 5 chord and resolving. So I'll play the root in the piano this time so you can hear. And I'll just put my foot on the pedal so it rings. So you can practice these just using, on the trumpet, if I'm going to use my scale starting on C sharp, thinking of the key of A, I have to play G on the piano, right? I'm up a whole step from the piano. Now I'll demonstrate doing the same thing, but I'll resolve to a major key. So I'll resolve to my D major from A7 flat 9. Okay, so that's doing the same thing, but moving to major instead of minor. So now I'm going to take that A sharp or B flat, I'm going to think of it as the 3rd of the 5 chord. So if I'm thinking of it as the 3rd, then I'm thinking of F sharp 7 flat 9. F sharp 7 flat 9 is the 5 chord of B minor or B major. Of course, this is trumpet key, so I'm going to think E on the piano. Okay, we'll do the same thing now, and we'll go to B major on the trumpet. So this is going from E to A, concert pitch, E7 flat 9 to A major 7. We're gonna go A major 7 now. So in trumpet key, that's F sharp 7 flat 9 going to B major 7. Here you go. So you can hear, you don't really even need the one. You can hear my resolution because of the relationship between the pitches, because I'm using those pitches to kind of show you where we're going. Now we can resolve this pitch down by half step. Okay, same thing when we get to the E. We can go resolve it down by half step to get to the third of the major 1. All right. So how these notes relate to the chord is really important, and how you resolve them is really important. So what I try to do when I work on these exercises, when I'm just screwing around, is I try and make sure that my resolutions make logical sense. That I'm either resolving up or down by half step, or sometimes because I'm emoting a little more freely because I've practiced this enough times, I'm using chromaticism and other things as well. But I'm really trying to focus my energies on this set of pitches to bring out that diminished quality, that upper structure diminished quality that is inherent in a dominant chord with a flat 9. So I'll use the trumpet key now of D7 flat 9. So if I see D7 flat 9, we can go from the other direction, right? This is good to go from the other directions because we are going to look at changes sometimes. We're going to have to think of these. So I'm going to think of D7 flat 9. Now, what would I play if I'm playing D7 flat 9? I'd play a diminished 7th chord starting on F sharp, starting on the 3rd. So you get the picture. I'm using these two chords. I'm just going back and forth. I'm trying to do it in time. One of the things you can do is you can introduce a metronome into the process and hear that click while you're playing. All right. That's it for today. Happy practicing. Practice your dominant 7 flat 9 to a major 1. Practice your dominant 7 flat 9 to a minor 1. And you do that in all 12 keys. First thing we want to do though, really work on those first 3 sets of 4 pitches. 3 sets of 4 pitches and unlocks your whole world for playing over 5 chords. Have fun with it.